Hey guys, so today I'm going to do a video on my best tips for staying motivated and little things that I do to help myself sort of stay positive when either not achieving what you want to achieve in the gym, or you're sort of just feeling low, you've got a lot on in life or whatever. Um, so I'm basically just gonna go through things that I find useful. Sorry, I'm just literally a bit of a mess. But on the positive side, I'm in my new khaki set and I literally don't want to take it off because it's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen in my life. And it's so comfy, so I'm just like sitting around in it. So first thing I'd say is the most important is to not compare yourself to other people. I'm a massive culprit of that. I always just look at other people on Instagram and on different things and on YouTube videos and stuff, and I constantly think, why do I not look like that? I've been training so hard. Why is my bum not as big as theirs? Why aren't my abs as defined as theirs? And what you have to remember is everyone is on their own journey. I've said this before, everyone is on their own pathway to achieving the goals that they want to achieve. And I think what you have to remember is also everyone has different body types. For me, it's in my genes, so I'm never going to be humongous because my mum and my nanny are both. Don't look at my nails, they're hideous. My mum and my nanny are both absolutely tiny, and they're like getting old. No, so my mum and my nanny are both really like tiny, and I don't see them getting big at any point in their lives, because it's just the way that we're built. So for me, the muscle that I've gained in the last year or so, for me, is a big deal. Like I've put on, so what is it? It's April now. Since October 2017, I've put on £9, which is no £8, which is for me is a lot of weight. And I'm also seeing the benefits as well. Like I put a post up, I think it was just near Christmas, of the transformation that I'd gone through of having no muscle definition, no sort of curves as people call it, nothing. I was just sort of straight down and that was it. And I was really unhappy with my body. Not that there's anything wrong with that at all, it just wasn't the body that I wanted to have. So that sort of motivated me in itself. Like I was like, right, I'm not happy. I want to be happy. I could be happy and I could change it. I just need to stick to it. And the benefits, like I will reap the benefits in the end of it. A big no is comparing yourself to other people on Instagram. Instagram models, like the Gymshark models, they're all insanely gorgeous, and I think most of us dream to look like those, but you just have to remember that they've been training for a long time. They probably once weren't happy with their body and they still might not be happy with how they look. Um, but you just have to remember that everyone's different, um, and that you could look like that one day. You're not going to look the same as them because that's impossible. You can't look like someone else. You have to remember that you will become your idea of happy. Like your body will become how you want it to be, but it doesn't transform. You won't look like someone else. It's not physically possible. So yeah, that's the main thing for me with staying motivated, is just do not compare yourself to other people because it will mentally kill you, and it's just a really unhealthy thing to do. So yeah, that's definitely one that I would stay away from doing. My second point would be to track your progress either weekly or monthly, because I think that this is a big thing, because sometimes people will get on the scales and they'll weigh themselves, and if they haven't put on or lost any weight, whatever your goal is, they'll be really disheartened. But you have to remember that progress isn't always visible. It is sometimes internally or mentally. Like I think I can't remember who, someone said, I think it was my cousin said to me, you should measure your bum and your abs and your stomach or whatever on your arms, and then if you like remeasure yourself every month, maybe once every month, and even if you've put on 2 millimeters, like you'll think, oh, I am growing, or I have lost a little bit. And I think that is like great to keep yourself motivated, thinking like, oh my god, like I actually am, after all this work that I'm putting in, I am gaining something from it. It's not pointless, because a lot of the time you'll step on the scales and if your weight hasn't changed, you'll be like, oh, like nothing's happened, like why am I not losing weight, why am I not putting on weight? But you may have done, it's not visible. You may have turned that fat into muscle. If you have like build-up of acids or water in your body, you may have turned whatever that weight, like whatever was compensating for that weight before, you may have turned that into muscle. And it's not always visible, but sometimes when you measure yourself, or if you take like progress pictures, you may be able to see the difference. Or even if it's just slightly. Like I noticed one time I sort of, like I think it was just a selfie that I'd taken, and I looked back at my phone. I was just trying to find an outfit that I wanted to wear, and I looked back and I was like, oh, like my legs look a little bit more muscular than they did before. And I was like, wow, like I may have not have noticed that if I hadn't have looked back at that previous photo and seen what I looked like before. I think you do have to just keep giving yourself little motivational, like progress sort of checkpoints, I guess. Like, so my goal was to put on, originally my goal was to put on 0.5 pound a week, which was never going to happen because I have such a high metabolism that it was impossible. Unless I doubled my food intake, which I couldn't do because I am quite tiny. Like my stomach isn't big enough for me to hold all that food. I physically had to train my stomach to eat more, and you have to like stretch your stomach by eating more and more and like training your body to take in that much food. So 0.5 pound a week was never going to happen for me, and I didn't know that until I sort of researched into it more and I spoke to different people. Like I spoke to my boyfriend about it because he sort of was doing the same thing, like he was trying to put on a bit of size, and although he eats a lot, he wasn't necessarily eating the right things that were gonna like help his muscle gain and not gain him to just put on weight that wasn't good weight. So that is another thing that is, for me, is very important. And I think things like progress pictures, writing down your different measurements maybe once a month. I try not to weigh myself very often at all because it can get obsessive and you can just get very, very disheartened and even like depressed about it, because it's just one of those things, especially with women. Like weight is a big thing, like in social media and stuff like that, and it's just, I think it can be very upsetting especially if you're trying to lose weight more and you don't realise that you're turning the fat into muscle but you weigh the same. I think it can be very like demotivating. So taking little pictures and seeing if the fat has turned into muscle definition, or even just like measuring say your arm and just like be like, oh, I'm going to measure this arm next month and see if it's the same, or like both your arms, whatever. And I think for me that's helped me a lot. I sort of take progress pictures. I don't, as I just said, I just went off on a tangent. I only really weigh myself when I go home, and I only really go home every couple of months at least. So yeah, I hope that helped. So personally for me, I found that tracking my journey on social media has really had its benefits. It has made me a lot more confident. I never thought it would. Like I was absolutely pooing my pants about posting things on Instagram about my fitness journey, but I've learned that people can be so lovely, and I've had so many lovely messages saying how well I'm doing, and for me that has boosted my motivation levels times 100. Literally, I never ever thought that people could be so lovely, but for some people that it may not work, like especially if you don't really post a lot on social media anyway. I loved Instagram before that anyway, and I always used to post selfies and stuff like everyone does. But so suddenly gaining like not a lot of followers. I'm not saying that I have loads of followers because I definitely don't, but I have gained a little bit of a following since I've started doing this, and I feel like the people that have followed me since they've seen what I've been doing, it's sort of like they're following my journey, and it's quite like it pushes you to want to show people that you're doing really well and that you are still going strong, and that like I've had a few people message me saying that like I've inspired them to start the gym, and like me sharing my story was what made them more like confident at the gym, or has helped, like my workout videos have helped them know what to do more. And for me, oh my god, I literally every time anyone messages me or says something nice, I like text my mum or ring my mum or my boyfriend. I'm like, oh my god, guess what? Someone's messaged me saying that oh, they really liked my videos or whatever, or they've said that I'm inspiring. And it literally sometimes it makes me really emotional because I'm like, oh my god, like I never thought this would happen. And it's so lovely that people are so kind and want to give you that support to keep going. And I think if you're up for that and you have the confidence to do that, then it's definitely something that I recommend that you do. And also, like, a few companies have like noticed my journey and have like reposted me on their social media to help me gain more of a following, and like I think boost my confidence a bit as well. And they've sort of said like, oh, you're doing really well, would like to help you and stuff like that. You do get a lot of scams. I think that's one thing to be careful of. If you do start posting more of your fitness life out there and you get more of a following, people do start trying to scam you and trying to buy their products and stuff. So you do have to be really careful. But that's really the only downside. As well as obviously some people can be nasty, and you do get like, it's very disheartening when you get like a thumbs up on a YouTube video, but you have to just remember that for them to have given it a thumbs up, they still took the time out of their day to watch it, which means they may just be giving you a thumbs down because, I think I just said thumbs up, I meant thumbs down. If they gave you a thumbs down, they still watched it, and the likelihood is they probably watched quite a bit of it for them to decide that they didn't like it. But if they didn't like it at all and it didn't bother them, it didn't interest them, they wouldn't have watched it. So still, you have to sort of, people are going to give you thumbs downs just to be spiteful and just to try and demotivate you, but you just have to ignore the negativity. Like every negative comment you get 10 positive ones, and it's just like, as long as you keep that in your head that people probably are just doing it because either they're jealous or they just have nothing better to do with their time. I think it's such a positive thing to do, and it personally has really helped me. My last motivational tip I could give is finding a workout buddy or pal or friend, or whatever you want to call it. I go with my flatmate Molly. She's my best friend at uni. She is on a completely different journey to me. She's trying to lose weight and tone up. So from sort of my experience, I've been helping her, and we've been on this journey together, which helps me a lot because I love going with people and I love just being able to have a laugh with your friends if you go with your friends. But also it helps you then build the confidence to go on your own in the future. Like, she's not at that point yet, but we're working on it. She will get there eventually. She's gonna kill me for talking about her. But yeah. So I think if you have a friend, or if you find someone that wants to start the gym or wants to get fit, or even if you have completely different goals, it's great just to go and just have fun with someone. Like, the gym is supposed to be enjoyable. You're not supposed to go and be absolutely miserable after you've been because you're feeling like what's the point, or I'm just going for the sake of it. Like, you want to set yourself goals and you want to go together and you want to work hard. Like, my mum is I love going to the gym with my mum. She's like my best friend. And I even go with my nanny sometimes when I'm at home because they're like my best friends, and I love going with them because it just makes it a lot more fun to work out, and you feel like it makes you feel like you want to go more often and you want to help them. Like, I love help. My nanny's like getting like older, So her mobility and her strength has gotten a lot weaker as she's gotten older. So for her, just doing little, like, she uses like little 1 kgs, but for her that's enough. She just wants to gain a little bit of strength back, mainly in her arms, because she said that she feels like she's deteriorating a little bit, like her strength is deteriorating. But you don't, obviously she doesn't want that to, and I don't want that to happen to her. So I just love going. She absolutely loves it. She's like, Millie, thank you so much for taking me, and I've loved it. And that for me literally makes it all worthwhile. Like, and even with my mum, like me, as you can, like, you've probably, if you've watched my other videos, you'll have seen a workout with my mum, and it is literally, oh god, it's just so funny to go with her, because we're pretty much like sisters, to be honest. And it's ridiculous. We just have such a good time. So you, Sue, that was very Suffolk. So that's my last tip. So to recap, now I've got to remember what I said. Find a friend to go with to motivate each other. Progress pictures or measurements or any sort of, don't weigh yourself. No, because it's bad and it can dishearten you so much, and it really frustrates me when people are like, oh, I haven't lost any weight. And you're like, well, how do you know that? And they're like, oh, well, I've weighed myself and I've not lost anything. And I'm like, yeah, but you may have turned that fat into muscle. And they're like, oh, really? I didn't think of that. And you're like, well, remember, that is what can happen. And also, the social media thing. With the social media situation, I think it's very important to remember that you can get negative things out of it, but as long as you are yourself and you don't pretend to be someone else, or you're not like making yourself out to be something you're not, a lot of the, like 90% of the time, I'd say, you get like positive things out of it. Like, I've had so many people say to me like, oh, do you not get scared that people are gonna like take the mick out of you, or like give you hate or stuff like that? But I just think for every, I don't know if I've already said this, but for every nice comment you get, no, every horrible comment you get, you probably get quite a few nice ones in return. So that's what I'd remember. Because that's really important. And all jokes aside, sometimes you will get people that are very nasty and spiteful, but you just have to remember that they're probably jealous, or they're probably just doing it because they've got nothing better to do with their time. And it's a bit sad, really, because you're putting in all this work to try and inspire people and motivate yourself more importantly, and people are like literally taking time out of their lives to make you feel bad about yourself. So they're not worth your time to even worry about. And I haven't personally experienced a lot of nasty comments at all, but obviously I'm new to all this still, so I wouldn't like be surprised if I got some nasty people in the future, but we'll see. And I think like my mum and dad sort of said to me, they were like, look, remember that you probably will get some people saying horrible things to you, and you just have to remember that like they're not worth it, and you just have to not get upset about it. And I just said, look, I know what I'm getting myself into by doing all this sort of stuff, and I think I'm at my like a point in my life now where I've sort of outgrown all this sort of like bitchiness and the high school like attitudes towards things. So I think I'm sort of in a headspace where I can just sort of block out the negativity. And from doing all this social media sort of like and YouTube stuff, it's helped me a lot mentally. It sort of has made me feel a lot happier and stronger in myself, and it's also like knowing that you are inspiring other people and knowing that people want to know how you've done it. Like, people have said, oh, you're going to make a workout guide, and I'm like, well, I hadn't even thought about it until like someone messaged me and was like, look, I have a high metabolism, I really struggle with putting on weight, like, could you give me some tips? And I sort of messaged her back and gave her some tips that I had it's like knowledge that I'd gained from my own experiences. Like, I'm not a qualified personal trainer or nutritionist or anything like that. it's all stuff that I've learned from my own experiences, and I just thought, like, why not? So, exciting news. I am going to be doing a workout guide. Um, it will be a summer project for me because I'm currently finishing my first year at uni, so I've got a lot of deadlines and a lot of work to do over the next few weeks. So it's going to be a summer project for me. Um, it's going to be mainly based on how to put on weight and the struggles of having a high metabolism, because it's a personal, like, it's an issue that I've had personally, of having a really, really high metabolism and finding it extra hard to put on any sort of weight. That is what I'm going to base it on. I'm going to include stuff like meal plans and workouts and just tips on how to train your body to take in more food and how to stay motivated. Probably include some of these tips. But that's just going to be the start of it. So I think that will be my first project that I'm going to do. If anyone has any other suggestions that they want to give me on things I can do in the future or after that, I don't know how long it's going to take me. I've never done anything like this before, so it could take me like the whole 6 months or whatever you get off for summer in the uni, like the ridiculous amount of time off that you get. Or I might get it done like 2 months, but I'm probably like, I'd be very surprised if that happened. So yeah, I hope you haven't got too bored of my voice and me rambling on, because if you've watched my videos before, you probably know already that I talk and talk until I realise that I've been like recording for 5 minutes on one section of this of this video, and then I'm like, oh, I need to stop. I think this is probably going to be quite a long video because it was like, what was it, 17 minutes now, I haven't even filled the last bit yet. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed it. If you did like it, please give it a thumbs up and comment below. The support means the world. And I know I say that every time, but it really does. Any little bit of positive feedback or even negative feedback or constructive criticism that you give me, it means a lot, because it means that you are taking the time out of your day to watch my videos, and like, it's really sort of overwhelming for me, so it's great. Give it a thumbs up. Please don't forget to subscribe so you never miss any of my videos. I'm going to be doing a supplements video over the next few days, and my moving into my new house video will be up next week. I am midway through editing that, but I'm still waiting for 2 of the beds to come because it's been an absolute nightmare. Don't order with Wayfair, they're not great. Like, the furniture has come and it's really nice, but they're like a week late on some of the deliveries, so not great. So hopefully they should be here in the next few days and built by the weekend, so the video should be up by like mid next week. So I'm not sure whether the supplement video will be up before or after that, but I'll keep you updated. If you have any other suggestions of videos that you'd like me to do, either give me a DM on Instagram. I'll put my Instagram here. Please follow me on Instagram. It would be great, because I post on my Instagram. If you don't subscribe, which I really hope you do, but if you don't, which you don't have to, I post pretty much on there, like when I've uploaded a new YouTube video, or for suggestions, I quite often post on there what you'd like me to post, and like news and stuff and different things going on in my life. So if you're interested in what I do, what I get up to, then give me a follow on Instagram. So yeah, please subscribe, and thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.